Watch this before 2026. Reflective English practice.
Right. And it looks, at first glance like just another language lesson.
Mm.
But our mission here isn't just to talk about grammar. It's really to analyze the engineering behind it.
Oh.
We want to uncover the very specific intentional strategies they're using to build not just vocabulary, but deep listening confidence.
And to do that while also encouraging some pretty significant personal reflection. It's this beautifully designed two-for-one system.
Exactly.
So the material we have is basically the description and summary of this audio monologue. And what's fascinating right away is that the creators weren't focused on complexity. Not at all.
No.
They were engineering an emotional and linguistic environment, one that's tailored for maximum absorption and, crucially, minimal stress.
Okay, so let's unpack that. I think we have to start with the atmosphere, the vibe. It's the very first thing you notice.
It really is.
The description pitches it as quiet and reflective. It sounds less like a classroom, and more like a late-night conversation or gentle monologue.
Which, in my view, is the single most critical pedagogical choice they made. They're deliberately rejecting that high-energy, high-pressure learning environment.
The kind that so often makes language learners just feel, overwhelmed.
Anxious.
Exactly. They know stress is the absolute enemy of cognitive retention.
So put yourself in the shoes of that learner. You're tired, it's late, you've had a long day. How does this atmosphere, this specific vibe, actually translate into better language retention?
Well, it does it by creating what the sources call a safe space for both language practice and self-thought. It's huge.
A safe space.
Yeah. When they describe it as the speaker sitting right beside you, the listener, they're removing that psychological barrier of formal learning.
I mean, think about it. Listening comprehension takes a huge amount of mental energy, a cognitive load. If you're spending half of that energy just managing your anxiety.
The learning is just not going to be efficient.
Not at all.
That makes perfect sense. If I'm relaxed, my filter's down, and I'm ready to actually absorb something, the tone they use must be incredibly important here, too.
Oh, it's the delivery system for that safe space.
Yeah.
The tone is described very specifically as speaking slowly and honestly.
Okay.
And using a soft and supportive tone. It's gentleness as a teaching mechanism. It's not just to make sure you hear the words clearly. It's to help you feel calmer and, this is the key, more confident that you can actually follow along.
They're managing your mood before they even try to teach you a single thing.
You've nailed it. Mental state first. This whole thing is designed for people who prefer quiet motivation and nighttime listening. It's an approach that fundamentally respects where your cognitive energy levels are at, late in the day.
And that quiet, supportive foundation, that's what everything else is built on.
It is. By lowering that emotional barrier to entry, they maximize the chances that you'll stick with it long enough for the actual linguistic toolkit to start working.
Yeah.
It's a very smart use of environmental psychology.
Which is a perfect transition into the mechanics. How do they actually move from setting a mood to guaranteeing comprehension? Let's look at the language engineering.
Right. This is where a term like scaffolding becomes genuinely useful. They've engineered the language itself to support you at every single turn.
So we're talking about minimizing the effort it takes to decode it all.
Exactly. While maximizing pattern recognition. It's structure over sheer complexity.
Okay.
The first layer is just the physical delivery, prioritizing clear pronunciation and slow pacing. But really, beyond the speed, the sentence structure is the real key.
Which is?
A heavy focus on short sentences.
Okay, tell me why that's such a comprehension guarantee for a learner. What's the magic in short sentences?
Well, again, think about that cognitive load. When you're listening in a new language, every single word is a hurdle, a decision point. If I use a really long sentence with multiple clauses like, although I had been working hard all day, despite the fact that the rain was coming down, I decided.
Right, I'm already lost. By the time you get to the end, I've completely forgotten the beginning.
Exactly. It's exhausting. But short sentences, simple statements with one idea, they let you process the concept, confirm you understood it, and then drop it. You're immediately ready for the next piece of information.
It creates this rhythm of small wins, these little successful comprehension steps that build on each other.
And that constantly reinforces the feeling of confidence we were just talking about.
That structural choice, just using short sentences, it seems almost too simple, but it's brilliant. But I have to ask, if everything is so simple and slow, doesn't that risk, talking down to the learner or not preparing them for the chaos of real-world English?
That's a great question. And they avoid that pitfall with another structural tool, repetition. The sources specifically point out their use of repeated phrases as a deliberate strategy.
So it's not lazy writing.
No, it's intentional teaching. It's designed to build what linguists call automaticity.
Okay, let's unpack that. Automaticity. How does repeating phrases turn simple sentences to something more robust for you, the learner?
Well, repetition is how our brain turns conscious effort into, well, muscle memory. By repeating certain sentence structures or little functional chunks of language.
Like transition phrases or something.
Exactly, or reflective questions. The material basically hardwires these structures into your brain. You stop consciously translating them. They just become automatic conversational units.
It's like practicing a guitar chord until you don't have to look at your fingers anymore.
That's a perfect analogy. You're training your brain to recognize patterns and just absorb those foundational chunks of language. And that also keeps it from getting boring, because even though it's slow, that structural reinforcement is constant.
Right.
And the final piece of this linguistic toolkit is the grammar and the vocabulary they chose. They opt for a heavy use of the present tense.
Now, why do that? Especially if you're reflecting on the past and you're planning for the future, why stick to the present tense?
To bypass unnecessary stress. Complex tenses, like the past perfect progressive or something,
Yeah.
they require serious cognitive gymnastics.
Sure.
By sticking to the present tense, the material grounds you in the moment. It lets you focus just on the core message in the word order, not on all the grammatical inflections. And that is crucial when you're already being asked to do high-level self-reflection.
And I'm guessing the vocabulary supports this simplicity too.
Absolutely. They use simple emotional vocabulary, talking fundamental human concepts.
To your hope.
Regret, courage, all of it. You're instantly relatable, universal themes, which means you can grasp the meaning of the concept, the emotional payload, even if you only partially grasp the specific English word.
The emotional context itself becomes a memory aid.
A very powerful one.
So for you, the learner listening to this deconstructed view shows exactly how it works. It's a masterful design. By combining that slow pace, the short repeated sentences, and fundamental vocabulary, it minimizes the stress of decoding. It frees up your brain.
To engage with the actual ideas, it totally flips the traditional learning model. Instead of you struggling to catch up, this material meets you exactly where you are. At night, reflective, maybe a little tired.
And it uses simplicity as the pathway to advanced comprehension and confidence.
Precisely.
Okay, so let's pivot now from the mechanics to the message. What were they actually asking listeners to think about before 2026? The reflective practice title implies something deeper than just language drills.
Oh, absolutely. The sources confirm a laser focus on fundamental life choices, personal growth.
Right.
It uses all those universal emotional concepts we just talked about.
So the monologue covers
Common human experiences, mistakes you've made, dreams you've held on to, the fears holding you back, and the hope you carry forward.
which is incredibly smart marketing when you think about it. If the message resonates with me that deeply, if it makes me genuinely think about my future,
You're far more motivated to process and retain the language.
I stop focusing on the verb conjugation and I start focusing on my own life goals.
And that is exactly where the linguistic confidence and the personal confidence merge.
Ah.
And to guide that reflection, they use very specific, gentle future expressions and encouraging phrases.
Phrases that actively reinforce this sense of agency, of belief in your own capacity to change.
Yes.
Okay, so let's get specific. What are some of these linguistic nuggets of motivation they use?
Well, they're just brilliant in their simplicity. The sources explicitly point to phrases like, "You still have time."
You still have time. Wow. Just 4 small words. But they carry enormous emotional weight, especially when the title is Watch This Before 2026.
It directly addresses that looming pressure of a calendar deadline.
It does. What else?
You can choose again.
You can choose again. And notice the structure there. It's still simple present tense. The modal verb can. It maintains that low cognitive load we discussed.
Exactly. They are delivering a massive philosophical and emotional concept, the idea of second chances, of freedom from regret, using the simplest, most accessible English structure possible.
And that combination is the true power, isn't it? It reinforces the calm structure with an idea that is itself instantly calming. The whole effect is guiding you gently toward confidence.
Not just in your English.
No, in your ability to manage your own life path.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this combination of accessible language and intensely supportive, reflective messaging, It helps you feel calmer and more competent in two areas at once.
Yeah.
It transforms language practice into an active, meaningful self-thought.
So you, the learner, get this amazing outcome. You get efficient language acquisition because the method respects your mental state, and you get a peaceful moment to actually process your life before a big calendar shift.
Yeah, the creators really recognize that the modern learners is often battling information overload and self-doubt. So by addressing that emotional state first, the language lesson, all the simple mechanics we talked about, it just lands so much more effectively.
Amazing. So let's synthesize this whole deep dive. We went into what looked like a pretty basic language learning tool. And what we found was this meticulously designed blueprint for achieving two goals at once: language proficiency and mental clarity, all delivered through intentional pacing and simple structure.
The main insight here is that the content works not by being challenging or fast, but by respecting the listener's mental state. It provides quiet motivation while still delivering these profound ideas about reflection and growth. It's their ability to get the maximum message across with the minimum structural effort. That's what makes it so effective.
It really makes you rethink learning entirely. And it raises an important question for you, the listener. Given how effective, slow, simple, reflective content is for both learning and just for our well-being, how often do we overlook pacing as maybe the most critical factor in successful knowledge acquisition, regardless of the topic? I mean, do we always need to accelerate? Or could intentionally going slower sometimes be the fastest route to true, lasting understanding? Something for you to chew on before 2026 gets here.
Indeed. Go gently towards your next piece of knowledge.
Thank you for diving deep with us. We'll see you next time.